Hey, this is Matthew.
And Rich from Rageworks.
Welcome back to Out of the Box, Into the Ring. And today it's time for the man beast, Rhino.
Yep. Rhino is another great addition to the line. Probably on the tail end of ECW when Heyman was just making the most out of the guys he had. Rhino burst onto the scene in very violent fashion, utilizing his Gore finisher, which just became synonymous with the character, and Paul Heyman yelling Gore. So much so that Heyman actually managed the Man Beast during his career in ECW for a time. I believe Heyman might have been going by Paulie Dangerously, but if not, in any case, still Paul Heyman managing Rhino. Rhino went on to have an awesome career in WWE, Impact Wrestling, and just making his way through the independents. But I think his best work was ECW and probably WWE in his early run when he was feuding, I believe, with Chris Jericho. I think Jericho got gored through the SmackDown television monitor, if I remember correctly.
Through their set, yeah, and that's how they end up getting a new stage the next week. So
that's right.
It's pretty cool way to involve that in storyline.
Indeed.
So this is part of the Thrill Zone line, and we've sort of discussed the Thrill Zone before, but we haven't actually reviewed a Thrill Zone figure. And you can see it's a pretty big eyesore of a package.
Yeah.
Yellow and purple.
Yep. But definitely still embodies most of the packaging from this line of figures. Very one-dimensional. Didn't really go out of the way to deviate too much. Saves cost.
Yep.
Kept cost down. But definitely overall a figure that on the tail end of the line and the company was very well done. Actually looks pretty close to how he looked too. Back of the packaging, as always, all of the figures from the line. Again, this is the Thrill Zone series. Actually came with some collectible tattoos, which was different. And he came with more weapons than some of the other figures too, right?
Yeah, we'll get to that when we take him out. And you see in the back end those unreleased figures as well, which we talked about previously. The figures that never were, and really probably better off we didn't get those repaints.
Nope.
Yeah.
Was there ever a Heyman figure in that line?
There was never a Paul Heyman. I don't think there were plans for one either.
Oh, damn. Giant cell phone? Oh, it would have been so great.
Yeah, I mean,
especially with the ridiculously of these accessories.
I mean, one day we're going to talk about the figures that never were, but surprisingly, there was no plans for Heyman, at least at the stage that they were coming out of.
Damn.
Yeah.
It would have been cool to see a Heyman or a Bill Alfonso in this
He would have
line.
fit in perfectly, yeah.
Have a Bill Alfonso packaged with a real whistle.
Oh, that would be horrible.
With that said, let's get this figure out of the box.
And into the ring. And we're back, and now Rhino is out of the package and ready to do some damage.
Rhino, probably one of my favorites out of this line. Super accurate depiction of how he looked during his run as the Man Beast in ECW, right down to the piercings that Rhino had at the time.
Yeah, he actually had piercings, right?
Yep, they did a good job capturing that. The action feature he has is a kick. Not sure why they did that.
Yeah, that's a bit surprising to me, too. I mean, I would have figured anything would have been better than the kick, but
he probably would have worked with the axe handle feature, because I feel the axe handle was something he did.
Yeah. And so the way that works is there's a button on his back there.
Yep.
And you just press the button in, and goal!
That's it. If you want to play soccer with your ECW figures, Rhino is your guy.
Yeah, totally perfect for that.
There you go.
Touchdown!
He came with some weird accessories too. He came with 2x4, and he also came with a baseball bat.
Always handy.
On top of everything else, baseball bat, 2x4, temporary tattoos.
Yeah, so part of this Thrill Zone line was that they all came with temporary tattoos. It was just their way to make it more extreme for kids. And they'd already moved past this point, the stickers. Now it's time for temporary tattoos. What's more extreme than temporary tattoos? Really think about it. Tell me.
Man. Looking at it and going back to what we had discussed in previous videos, I understand taking a violent promotion like ECW, making it kid-friendly, but some things like the whole tattoo thing just seems so out of place. Like, I don't even think it was necessary. I actually liked, I believe it was Wave 1 that had the cards.
That was actually not even Wave 1. Wave 1 and 2 had nothing. So that was the next line after that is what had the stickers, cards.
Like sticker cards, things like that. At least if you want to do that, that's cool. This just seems so out of place, and it's just begging. I'm sure parents were pissed off that their kids were just putting tattoos all over the place.
And they're not even good tattoos either.
No, they're not.
Really generic.
Yeah, really flash generic. That looks more like HBK's heart tattoo, actually.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, and that kind of looks like a Hitman skull.
There's a tramp stamp on top of that.
There you go.
Yeah, and these are just like if you're making your creative wrestler in your SmackDown game, these are the tattoo options available.
That's it. But overall, Rhino probably my favorite on the line. Sculpt was on point, close to how he looked back then.
Especially that profile, too. He really got it down.
He was definitely a more barrel-chested athlete, so it fit. They did a good job with that. Like I said, piercings were good. Minus the kicking feature, like probably one of my favorites from this line.
I think the outfit's really good. Again, the bodies are always unique in these ECW figures, and this one looks really great. They really captured the thickness of Rhino because he is a thick boy.
And a little vein, too. They gave the little veins in there.
Yeah, he's got some veins in his arms.
Yep.
Now, in terms of what match this is from, I actually don't remember what match, if this even is an actual outfit. I'm pretty sure that this outfit is legit one that
his
he wore.
outfit was pretty...
His were pretty tame, and he only basically wore like 2 different ones at most.
Yeah, he had very minimal deviation.
Black and purple is all he really wore.
Yeah, I think so. And the only difference with this going through his career was when he went to WWF, they started spelling his name RHYNO for copyright, of course.
Extreme copyright.
Yeah, so other than that, though, Rhino's been pretty consistent. So you can take this figure and pretty much put him amongst any of your others, and the ring gear and everything will be right at home.
And we should add there is a Rhino repaint as well. I don't remember which one actually came first off the top of my head today, but there was a red outfit of Rhino, which, again, I don't think he wore red. It was dark purple or black typically.
Yeah.
But there is a repaint of Rhino out there.
Maybe red like piping or something, but nothing completely red.
Yeah, his stuff was pretty basic, yeah.
Yep.
And we're just going to try and see if the accessories get into his hand, because that is the weird thing about Rhino is, like, you know, he's got great articulation, and these figures all have pretty decent articulation. But in terms of holding their weapons, I mean, he can hold it, but the way he's holding it is like, what do you do with this?
Yep. It's still a very unnatural layout in terms of how you want to pose these figures. Like the closed fist, again, I understand, but that open hand, even if the hand was turned the other way, would have just made it look a little bit better.
I don't understand why some of those figures have that weird hand issue. It's like, and the fact that his arm is the way it is with the limited articulation, it's like, what are you doing with that 2x4?
And the thing about it is, this is a later line, so it wasn't even like they were. It's almost like they went backwards.
Kind of is. They just never really improved the hands.
Because even the earlier figures, like even the Lance Storm we looked at in a previous video, the articulation he had in his arms was definitely a lot better. Albeit, you know, same hand issue, but a little closer at least to being a little more natural.
Yeah. And it's actually kind of funny now we're just seeing them side by side in terms of scale. So there's a height difference, which is kind of nice too.
But was Rhino a bigger guy? I always felt he was a stockier, like a smaller.
You know, it's hard to tell Rhino because he was so stocky. It's like you just immediately think of him as being stocky.
And he used to always walk hunched. Like he always had kind of like that menacing, you know, brooding look to him.
I mean, I'd say if anything, they made him in about the same scale as like Mike Awesome. So I think they were playing with scale a little bit. You'll see when we get to Mike Awesome toy, because he's also pretty tall. Okay. So I think they were kind of playing with the scale, and also because he's like the bad guy in a lot of ways. So they need to make the bad guy look big and strong. So that's kind of my theory on that. It was more just about being toyetic and playable versus reality.
Makes sense.
So why don't we go ahead and get Rhino into the ring and see him in action.
That's right. Let's check him out.
Rhino's in the ring, ready to face off against his opponent. Who is it going to be, Rich?
The unlucky Tommy Dreamer.
I mean, I feel like this is a Taz video now because he's about to become just another victim. So really, Rhino's big moves, besides just pounding the crap out of a person, is the spear and Piledriver through table. But first, we have to try out that action feature again, just because why not? So
soccer kick him right in the old brajol.
Can't even get his. I mean, it's kind of like real Rhino because he can't get his leg that high.
No, he cannot.
It's actually pretty accurate.
It is accurate.
Well, let's go ahead and let's try the spear, I guess. See how we're gonna do this. Oh my God,
he's dead.
Did you just hear that? Did I just break the action?
Rhino needs a hip replacement.
I think I just made the action feature better.
There you go.
Oh, no. I think I was doing it wrong. I think I actually had to load it up.
Jeez.
It looks like it's working better now. I think whatever I did, you hear that?
Yeah.
I don't like that. But every time he hits it, it comes back down.
Yeah, it really does.
We must be doing something wrong. So I'm gonna try and spear him without putting his body down completely.
Hit him with the Gore.
I mean, that's part like you can't really get him off the ropes.
No, you really can't.
So you have to kind of just like throw him head on, which to be fair is like how Rhino would do it.
Yep. Oh, that actually worked kind of well.
Pretty much, yeah. You want to give it a shot? You can. Tommy's just minding his own business, thinking about what he's gonna have for lunch.
Flying drop kick. Not so much the Gore, but you guys get the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, this leg feature, you gotta really... You know what it reminds me of? The Bob the Goon figure from the Batman, Tim Burton Batman line, where he had a kick, and it just never worked.
So let's do now his Piledriver. Well, first of all, let's make sure he can do it normally, which I don't think he can because his arms are too wide.
Yep.
So instead, it's going to be a double arm
That's it. First world problem.
I guess we're gonna make it. Yeah, let's make a double arm suplex instead.
That's it.
There is no way to really do a pile driver with this figure. I mean,
You could probably do a running power slam.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Yep,
I mean,
that works. Yep, that actually works really well because he did do a running power slam.
That's true. Yeah, that works out.
Yep.
Well, why don't we get, as I hip toss time dreamer, let's get out a accessory that did not come with Rhino, but here's a debut I'm very happy to have. So there's one really cool accessory now we have to talk about, though, and that didn't come with any of these figures. And that is this holy grail right here, for me at least, holy grail. This is the ECW table. The only way to get this table was to buy the ring, which came with 2 of them, or to get the 15-piece accessory set from Toys R Us. And this was my favorite table as a kid, because at the time, you really couldn't get many other tables. There was like the commentator desk that Jakks made for their toys, and eventually there would be other tables that they would make too, but for the longest time, this was like my go-to table. And I think it's like one of the best tables to this day still. It like holds weight of toys, it breaks nicely, and it comes apart easily as well.
Yep.
Just really great piece.
Yeah, it's actually really good because it stays pretty stable.
Yeah, and considering like, really how cheap it is, because let's be honest, this is a cheap table in terms of production compared to other tables that have real folding legs.
Yep.
It's pretty darn great, and we'll demonstrate it right here. In fact, before we even try some of the other fancy moves, let's have Rhino launch.
That's it, splash. There you go.
Look at that.
Perfect.
I mean, it held his weight, and then it collapsed when it needed to collapse.
Yep.
A lot of the Jakks tables at the time, they had trouble breaking. Often they were just too hard. They were too firm. This is like the exact right amount of firmness for the tables.
Yep, it's perfect.
So, in fact, let's go ahead and set that up there, maybe. Well, actually, the other cool thing, too, is you can always pop a leg or 2 out, like that. Stick that in the corner.
Oh, that's good.
We'll do the power slam through it.
Yep.
By popular demand.
Yep, that's actually really cool. It actually worked out well.
Very nice. Yeah, if you want to give it a shot. In fact, we can even take out all of the legs, because it's a thing you can do here. Pop that in there. It'll still work just fine, if not better.
He can always do the setup for the DDT counter and through the table.
Look how good that looks, too.
That actually works.
Yeah, it works really well. And something he never ever did was a Northern Lights suplex, but we're going to do it today.
Why the hell not?
One of Rhino's signature moves that he was most well known for was his pile driver through a table to the outside of the ring. We're going to try and do that today. Even though he can't really hold this person up for a move, we're going to still try it today. Somehow. That's a real extreme pile driver.
That's it. Let's see if it works. And 3, 2, 1. That's it.
That's one way to do it. That's one way to kill a man.
I like that the table broke apart nice, flew in different directions.
Right? That's how it should be. I mean,
that's it.
I'm gonna actually try and do it classic style, the way he would have done it, but I don't know how we're going to even do that. So it's always really cool when he do that, too. Like, he, kind of walk over there and just be like, whoop.
Yep.
Yeah, it works. I'll go with that. I mean, it's not as easy to do for him, unfortunately, but, we got the table here. We're just going to try it out.
Yeah, the table's definitely a nice pickup, man. Really cool.
See, if we had the Mike Awesome, I would just have him do the powerbomb right to the outside. But since we don't, and we got Rhino here,
since he's hanging out, that works.
That's extreme.
He just looks over, trash talking him. The man beast stands victorious.
So that's our look at the ECW Rhino figure, and that's what's left of Tommy Dreamer right down there.
That's it.
It's pretty awesome. I like this figure a lot.
Awesome. It definitely is a very well done figure. And right around this time, at 11 p.m., a new episode of Matlock on TNN. But in all seriousness, no, a great Rhino figure really embodies everything that Rhino was during the final years of ECW. Great addition if you're a Rhino fan. Great addition if you're a San Francisco ToyMakers collector.
Yeah, real must-have. And again, he is one of the ones that is harder to get. Really, the last lines are among the hardest to get, but he's worth it. And there are plenty of good Rhino figures out there. I don't think there's really a bad Rhino. The worst I'd say is probably the more recent Mattel, to be honest. Because actually, to be fair, the Toy Biz had similar problems with the weird body and giant arms. I'd say this is probably the closest to actually capturing what Rhino physically looked like.
Yeah, Rhino has a very unique look to him. Very big legs, very barrel-chested.
Yeah.
He to get that type of a figure, to get him accurate, you're going to require a special mold or a special sculpt. And Rhino, as much as he's a fan favorite, is not as big enough of a star to warrant a custom special mold.
But with ECW, they did that for everybody.
Yep.
So, got a really good piece.
Indeed.
So, I'm Matthew.
I'm Rich from Rageworks.
We'll see you guys here next time with another episode of Out of the Box Into the Ring Extreme Edition.
Peace.